You are now listening to the CarLifestyle podcast.
With host
Seth Rose from Exotics Rally.
Elizabeth White from It's White Noise.
CarLifestyle.
Welcome back to the CarLifestyle podcast. We are actually having an interesting day here. We are in sunny Florida, and currently we are at Sebring
International Raceway.
Okay, Sebring International Raceway here in Sebring, Florida. And we are joined with a very special guest. I'm here first with my co-host, Elizabeth White from It's White Noise.
Hey guys, how are you?
I'm Seth Rose from Exotics Rally. We are joined by Christina Nielsen.
Hello, everyone.
And Christina, what is your exact title, would you say?
I would call myself a professional race car driver.
Okay, and the name of your racing team is?
Scuderia Corsa, and I race with Alessandro Balsan and Matteo Cassoni full-time.
Excellent. And what car are you currently racing?
Currently racing the Ferrari 488 GT3 spec, which is what we race here in the IMSA WeatherTech Championship.
Okay, are there any other cars in your corral that you race, or?
No, I mean, I'll be going to Le Mans this year, which is the big 24-hour race in France. Mm-hmm. And we're going to be racing a GT2, but still a Ferrari 488. So, similar car, different tires, you know, it's a different spec.
Right.
But it's actually the same car. Ferrari has built a car that can be transformed between a GT3 and a GT2.
Oh, so it's very modular. They just change things.
Yeah, it's a shame chassis, and you can just change it into whatever spec you need to race.
Awesome. So what do you think of the 488?
It's absolutely amazing. I love it. It's a beast and a beauty.
Well, nobody can see, but you actually lit up like a light bulb just talking about it. So.
It's sort of a beast and a beauty at the same time, I think. It's absolutely stunning to look at, you know, the details that, you know, the Italians have paid attention to. Like, everything they've done, you can see that it's done with pride, it's done with passion. But at the same time, you know, it's a car that they want to win. So it's built, it's robust, and it's a very good race car. It's probably the best one I've raced so far.
And what have you raced in the past? I
raced Porsche, and I raced Aston Martin. I will also say, you know, as a race car driver who just loves to race cars, the 488 is from the new generation. Sure. It's one of the newest cars. It's competing against the Ford GT. It's competing against the new Audis, the new Porsches. So I'm sure the new cars are also from the other manufacturers are a step up and have improved, because that's the constant development that we have within motorsport. But I gotta say, I'm absolutely in love with the 488. I do think it's very competitive here in the field because we have almost every brand represented.
Yeah, we just walked the pit walk, and I mean, it's amazing all the brands that are represented.
Oh, it's so cool. Like, there's anything from Mercedes to Lexus,
Mini
Audi,
Cooper,
Porsche,
Audi,
Lambo. Yeah, it's really it's a very.
We noticed a lot of McLarens this year.
Yeah, we actually don't have McLaren in our class.
Okay. They
race in the other championship called Rally World Challenge, a sprint series, and then I guess there's a couple of GT4s here. Yeah. I haven't had a close look, but I believe they race in the Conti series. Mm-hmm. So, but they're not in the IMSA WeatherTech Championship.
Is that a good thing?
You tell me. I don't know. I haven't competed against them, so I wouldn't know. But
are there a lot of other Ferraris here?
Nope, actually not. In our class, we're the only one. There's also one Ferrari racing with the Risi Competizione, racing in GTLM, which is one class above us. It's a full pro driver series, and yeah, I mean, I don't mind. It makes it special. You see that red Ferrari blowing by, and you know that's us.
That's you. I mean, it has to be red.
Exactly. It's a classic.
And you have a title to defend this year.
We do, yes. We won the championship last year. Made history.
Congratulations, that's awesome.
Thank you.
It's quite an accomplishment.
First female to ever win a professional full-season sports car championship here in North America. And yeah, we actually had our first race with the 488 here. We raced the 458 at Daytona, which was the first race of the season. We pulled it straight out of the box, and we won Sebring. A little bit different this year, but it's very good to be back and very good memories. We've had good results here at Sebring so far.
Awesome. So I'm sure our listeners want to know, how did you get involved in motorsports I mean, you hail out of, I believe, Norway?
Denmark.
Denmark.
Yes,
okay.
Very close.
Okay. So you're out of Denmark. And when did you start getting involved in motorsports?
About the age of 13, 14 years old. And I went with a friend to a rental go-kart event. It was a random coincidence. And I just fell in love with the feeling of driving. Like, I think that's still my passion today. I think racing is a very, very tough sport. There's a lot of external factors that influence your results that you don't have a chance to influence yourself. You just have to deal with them. And it can be very challenging mentally. I normally say there's more downs than ups in racing, but the ups are just that good that they make you want to continue.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I fell in love with the feeling of driving, and no matter the challenge, I always come back to the passion that I have for driving and for racing and competing.
So who's your biggest fan and supporter?
My dad.
Your father, yeah?
Yeah.
He was a big influence growing up in motorsports, or?
Yes and no. I mean, my dad was very busy. He's not as busy today, over the last couple of years. But the first couple of years that I raced, my dad was very busy and traveling a lot with business. So he wasn't that much around physically. But, I mean, he's always the first person I call. He's always around, like watching and looking, even though he might not be there physically. So he's definitely been a big part of my racing.
And your dad raced the 12 hours of Sebring before?
Yes, he did. Did he? Yeah.
Daytona,
I know he raced the American Le Mans Series. I'm actually not sure if he raced Sebring. I think he did, yeah. Oh, that's embarrassing. I don't know that.
We did a little research on you.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Well, he's done. The good thing is he's done a lot of racing. So I haven't followed everything, but he used to do a lot. He raced here in America. He was also the one who introduced me to American racing and told me, it would be cool to go and do Petit Le Mans, which is at Road Atlanta in October. And I was like, what's Petit Le Mans?
Right.
And I had two friends from Europe that were racing that race, and they, recommended me to a team, and I got to speak with them, and I got a seat for the final race of that season, and joined them full season the following year in the Porsche Cup Challenge, a one make series.
Oh, yeah.
So when was your first race? Your first professional race, I should say. How old were you?
Like a go-kart or
No, professional racing, not go-karting, actual track racing.
That's a good question. I guess that would be 2013. Because that was the year I raced where there were factory supported teams and those sort of people involved in the racing series that I was racing. I was racing with Alan Simonsen in the 80AC GT Masters, which is a German GT championship. So the cars that we race here, they're similar. It's just a German championship. But
right.
I mean, the harder racing is normally said to be in England or in Germany. And it's definitely one of the toughest GT championships I've ever seen or experienced. And I follow it still. And it's still just as tough as any top championship, basically.
Where do you prefer to race, in the States or overseas?
I prefer to race in the States. But honestly, I just love the circuits here. They're they have charm, they have personality, they're very unique.
And the fans?
Oh, they're great as well. They really put in an effort. There's also, very dedicated fans in Germany and in Europe. But, it's fun here. I really enjoy it. I think, one of the things I really like here is that we don't discuss what we call track limits. This is where you have so much runoff space after the curb, which is normally the exit of the track, that you can go over it and join back on track and you can gain time. In America, you normally have the track, a curb, grass, and a wall.
Yeah.
So, you go off the curb, you go in the grass, you go in the wall, your race is done.
Yeah,
you don't have
done.
to discuss those sort of things. It's unique. You have to be precise, and every track is special. There's always something different about every one of them, and I absolutely love racing all of them. Sebring is one of my favorites, probably.
I was going to say, is there anyone that you prefer?
Yeah, Road Atlanta is my ultimate favorite, I think, but Sebring is also, for me, a track that I will always remember, and always remember how challenging it was. It's definitely something that you don't come across anywhere else.
Can we talk about maybe one of your favorite races you've done so far?
Sure. I think Sebring last year was definitely one of the best races. I mean, we just got the new car, and like I said, rolled right out of the box. We took it to victory, and the team did a stellar job. We had our issues, and my engineer always said that it's not a question of Are we going to run into issues? It's a matter of how are we going to handle it and when are we going to run into them. So,
This is a hard track. It kind of beats you up. It's very old. It's a very old track.
yes.
And there's a lot of different patches of concrete and ground. Can you maybe describe this to our listeners?
Sure. I think where you feel it the most is in the rain, because that's where the grip starts to go away. And some of the surfaces are a lot slicker in the rain. So you would go from one where you were like going at it full throttle, and suddenly you cross this massive amount of paint or change surface, and the car just slips away from you. It's very challenging for a driver, and it's very bumpy, so it's hard on the body because it is a 12-hour race. You might be 3 drivers sharing the car, but it's still tough. It's tough with the weather conditions, and we do the track walk, and every year it's like the cracks get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They fill them in sometimes too.
Yeah.
Little speed bumps on the track.
Exactly. But now it's, I don't know, it's sort of like it's a part of Sebring, so you've accepted it as a driver. It's like, oh, that's how it is, and we're gonna run over it as fast as we can, and that car better grip.
Yeah.
So the race you're participating in is 12 hours,
Yes.
correct? Okay, and how many hours of seat time do you actually have in those 12 hours?
Well, there's a minimum drive time. I'm actually not aware what mine is, but it's around 4 hours.
Okay.
So I will most likely, I'm starting the race tomorrow because I qualified today. That's the rule. The driver who qualifies starts the race. And every driver has a minimum drive time in order for every driver to get points for the championship. So I'll most likely get in and do a double, have a break for about a double or triple stint, and then I get in and do another double. I've done my 4 hours, and it's up to the boys to do the rest. So we actually divide it pretty equally. We actually, all of us do about 4 stints. So, yeah.
Do you ever find yourself getting worn down quicker than normal, or I know you do a lot of training for this?
Sebring is definitely one of the tougher tracks. It is very tough on the body. Like I said, it's very bumpy. It has a lot of cracks. It's not your usual racetrack. I think people from Europe, especially, or anywhere else in the world, get shocked when they come here and they go, "Do they race here? Like, is this normal? Is this what American racing looks
it's like potholes in New York City or something."
And the rest of us who's racing, we're like, "Yeah, it's badass." Like, we really, I don't know. I love it, at least. I think it's so cool. And yeah, you get tired. Like I said, it's a lot of conditions. It's 4-class racing, meaning there's 4 different classes of cars, all at different speed, that are overtaking and having their battles individually or in battles within the class. So there's class racing, there's the high temps, high humidity. It's a bumpy track. It's very challenging. It is 17 corners. In qualifying, it's super hard to put together one lap where you get everything right. I think that's the beauty of it, to expect to not get everything 100% right, because it's such a tough track.
Everybody always tends to think that the driver is the most important part. And I'm not taking anything away from drivers, but what do you think is the most important part of a race team? Being the driver that you are, what would you say is the most important aspect?
Well, I think the beauty is that everyone matters. We're never going to make it through a 12-hour race and be successful unless every individual on each team perform to their best level.
Right. It's like a machine, and every gear has to be perfect.
Yeah.
tuned.
It's like saying, "Oh, we'll do fine without first, second, and fifth and sixth gear."
Right.
That's not going to work. You're not going to manage just with third and fourth gear. Everyone matters. When we get in and do the pit stops, if the boys are not ready, if they don't do a good enough job on the pit stops, for me to gain maybe 5 seconds that we lose in the pit can be so hard to gain out
sure.
on track. So that's why it's super important for them to be on point. It's important for us to be on point. I mean, it's
So how's your pit crew this year?
oh, amazing. They're one of the best in the entire pit lane. I'm so proud of them. They do
Yeah.
such a good job.
So they probably have to work out and exercise as much as you do.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, the pit crew is one side. We also have the 2 engineers doing the strategy and keeping an eye on the car and fuel consumption and all these sort of things. I mean, it really, really is a team effort. A lot of people always think that motorsport is an ego sport, but then when you hear interviews, a lot of people always say we.
Right.
Sometimes I also say we, and people are like, who are we? I'm like, oh, that's me and my dad. Because I always talk
Yeah.
about us together.
I mean, there's a lot of people involved in this.
Very. And that's also what people.
People think it's just a driver. You got a bunch of
Yeah,
guys on a
and-
pit crew, and maybe one guy wearing a
There's
headset
mission
yelling at you the
control
whole
going
time.
on.
It
There's
is.
people looking at tire temperatures and
It's crazy. There's goes a lot of hard work into it, and I mean, that's the best part probably. That is that when you really do well, you get to share it with all of these people, and all of us have one goal and one passion, and that is to race and to win.
So, do you have any regimens you do before every race? Is it a sock or is it a chant, a food you eat?
Well, now I'm with Italians, and they're very superstitious. I swear, Daytona. For me to walk from our pit box and over to the bathrooms, there's a staircase, and the men's bathroom was one side of the staircase, and the women's were on the other. I walked around the staircase every single time because I was so afraid of bringing bad luck to the team. So I think the Italians have rubbed off on me. So yeah, I'm definitely. We have several rules in our team. We don't eat lasagna the night before a race.
Really?
Yes, we don't walk on the staircases. Balsan cannot do an interview when I'm in the car. What else? We have one more. Well, that's we have a few for us,
Right.
for us drivers, things we're not allowed
So what's
to do.
with the no lasagna?
Oh, and I can't have nightmares. If I have nightmares, we know we're going. I swear, I had a nightmare last year that we got taken out by a specific class, called PC. And I said it to the boys, my stomach was hurting, and I told them. And I swear to God, I went out to the race, 40 minutes into the race or something, boom, got taken out by a PC car.
Wow.
So we have a few rules. For me, I always listen to music. It sort of allows me, because there's always a lot going on with journalists and with fans and with cars and people always coming up to you. And honestly, sometimes you just need to zone out. So I really like to just listen to some music and relax a bit. And I have my co-driver who passed away. I have his name and his birth date written on the back of my helmet. So normally I always just give a clap on the back of the helmet. So I don't have that many rituals, but things we don't do is definitely a list that's longer than that.
So what's involved in your actual training? I'm sure you get plenty of track time, and I'm
simulator.
sure there's simulators, exercise. What would you say is a typical day for you?
I do simulators. I go to CXC simulators in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And I'm not a huge fan of simulators. I'm really bad at computer games. It's not my strong suit, that's for sure. But it's definitely a part of the job. So I go and do what I believe is necessary. The training program, especially up here to Sebring, we've been working hard at getting ready. It's it's a good mix of strength and cardio because you need both as a driver. A lot of people think that it's not very demanding to drive a race car, but honestly, you sit in this car and you sit in this heat and you're wearing fireproof underwear, and you're wearing a race suit, and you're wearing a helmet, and it's all a lot for the body. You're constantly working you never. For example, if you play golf or you play tennis, which is also very demanding sports for sure.
Sure.
But you have that moment where you can look away, dribble the ball, something like that. In racing, you can't do that.
Yeah, there's no break.
No.
Well, you don't want the break.
Yeah. Well, we go down the straight, and normally, I might have time to just move my fingers a little bit.
Right.
But other than that, I might be reading fuel numbers. I might be taking some water to drink. All of these things going on.
You're also constantly in communication with your
Yeah,
crew.
I'm not the most some drivers talk a lot. I don't talk a lot. This whole multitasking thing, I don't know, it doesn't work for me that well, at least not
Are
when
they
I'm in
constantly talking and you're just listening?
No,
or-
they're also very respectful
Yeah,
to what
they know.
the driver wants.
They don't want to distract you. Yeah.
Some drivers like to be talked to and like to talk. I don't. So it's just
you just get into a zone and do your thing.
copy, hit this lap. Yep. It's very limited communication for sure.
Cool. So what do you think your biggest challenge in this race is going to be?
I think the biggest challenge always for Sebring is to make it to the last 2 hours. Anything can happen. It's a very demanding track, not only for the drivers but also for the car. The drivers really have to take care of the car and need to to think about their moves. You can't go ahead like in a sprint race and say, oh, I'm going to take a chance here, I'm going to take a chance there, because it doesn't work that way. Racing is, or endurance racing is all about, we have a saying actually, bring the car back in the condition that you would like to receive it. And this is sometimes difficult to do, but I think it's a very good thing to have in the back of your mind. Always think, oh, am I taking a chance here? Is this unnecessary? Are they gonna pit in 2 laps, and then I don't need to risk an overtaking because this person is closing the door all the time.
So it's the respect of racing.
Yes, but I actually think there's great respect here in this paddock. I really think that everyone have respect for each other. At least those of us who's been around for a couple of seasons now, we know each other and we race each other and we race each other hard. Might be a little bit of a tire mark on the side of the car by the end of the race weekend.
A little rubbing.
But it's exactly. But it's rare that people like push each other out.
Right.
Are you a fan of any of the other race drivers that are here this weekend?
Oh, a lot of them, yeah. I mean, I'm also friends with some of them, and that's the cool thing. Like, we'll talk during the week and be like, "What's up, man? What's up, girl?" Like, and
Well, it's kind of
we're
like
chatting.
MMA fighters, or out having a drink, then they beat the crap out of each other.
Exactly. But when we go racing, we also know, like,
Right. You respect each
there's
other
no
on the
mercy.
track.
Like,
Yeah.
we're going, then the helmet is on, and that's a different situation than from you when you run into each other. But if we've had an incident, probably wouldn't be the first person I'll say hello to right away.
Right.
But like, we'll probably give each other a call later that week.
How often do the cars have mechanical failure?
I mean, we had one at Daytona, but honestly, we had very, very little mechanical issues last year, and we didn't have any actually that were, can you say fatal for our race?
Correct.
Like, it
Right.
wasn't.
It didn't take you out of the race, right?
No, exactly. Like, it would maybe cost us some time, but it was never anything that actually put us in a situation where we couldn't finish the race. And that's a big, thanks to the team. Because they really prepped that car so well every race weekend. They did so well at the pit stops. And, they put their heart and soul into that car. And I feel 100% safe and very good whenever I go and sit behind the wheel.
How quick is the pit stop?
It's 30-something seconds. It actually depends on, like, driver change and tires are normally done before the fuel is
Fuel,
done.
yeah.
So it all depends. It's normally, I would say, between 35 and 40 seconds. So we'll be done with the other things
it's
by
quick.
that. Yeah.
It's quick. So let's talk a little about what cars that you like, cars that you drive. What do you currently own? What have you owned?
Do you drive on the street?
Yeah. I don't have a Ferrari on the street. That's my, we joke and say that's the weekend car. I have a 2017 SQ5, an Audi,
Cool.
which I got up from Fresno Audi, which I'm very much in love with.
You should flash the computer. It makes a massive difference.
I should what, sorry?
Flash the computer. You do an ECU flash.
Oh,
It has a hidden about 90 horsepower hidden.
yes. Well, that would be very, very lovely, but it's not my car, actually. I don't own it, unfortunately.
Ah.
So, but that sounds mega. I'll keep it in mind in case it's mine one day.
So you are currently living in LA. There's some amazing roads out there. Do you get to hit the canyons?
I do once in a while. I haven't been out as much as I wanted. I got the car like recently, maybe a month and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been traveling a lot, to be honest. I had a few events in Europe that I needed to attend. I'm leaving again on Sunday. We have the race Saturday, and then I'm going to Europe. I'm testing Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Then I go back home. So the schedule has been sort of busy, but to be honest, like, I love every morning I come down and I'm like excited because I get to go and drive my car. So it's sort of like, I think people, especially in LA, because there's so much traffic and it's annoying to know, oh, okay, now you have to go and sit in traffic. But it's like saying, okay, I have to fly, but at least I fly business instead of economy. So
All right, so let's touch on the what everybody wants to know, which is a female race car driver.
all right, let's get to it.
Let's get to it, because
Yep,
that's the
the
heart of it
usual.
all. Because I know that you have a quote that I found which says, "I am not a female who's a sports car driver. I'm a sports car driver who just happens to be a female."
Yeah.
So why don't you give us a little enlightenment on that?
Sure. I say that because it's not that I'm not proud of doing what I'm doing as a female, but foremost, I'm proud to be a driver who's achieved and become a champion last year and raced what we raced. It's not about the fact that I'm trying to single myself out as a female. It's a part of the game. We use it a lot for the media. We use it to try and find sponsors because we attract more attention. And we try and use it to our advantage. But bottom line is, when it comes down to it, when I'm sitting behind that wheel, the car can't tell the difference between being male and female.
And no driver's giving you the right of way as a courtesy.
Exactly. And I mean, I expect to be that, our engineer and the peeps demand just the same from me as they do from the boys. So, I might have been a female to make history last year, and that was epic.
Sure.
But I was also a driver, one of the few drivers in the paddock here that can call themselves champion and say, yeah, I won that championship.
Do you get any heat from the other drivers, being that you're a female?
Sure, there's always a little bit here or there, but I also give them shit. So, it goes both ways.
Both ways,
yeah, definitely.
I would like our listeners to actually Google you, Christina Nielsen, just to take a look at what your physical appearance is. I think walking around the paddock, everyone's seeing a tall, slim, blonde female, young, pretty, attractive, smiling, would not assume that you are the driver of the vehicle.
Right.
Actually, my height has been it always gets mentioned. We had an event once, and I joked to the guy who was parking the race car and said, "Oh, you better watch out for our baby." And he made some comment about, that I wouldn't fit in it anyway. And I was like, dude, you see that name on top of the car? Yeah, that's mine. That's I don't know. A lot of people actually assume that I don't fit in.
I'm a female in this industry, unlike what you're doing, but it's still funny to have them come up and almost talk about something that you're involved in, and you're standing there listening to them and they don't even know it's you. They might be saying something about your car or you or the driving, and you're standing right there next to them. Right.
Well, they automatically assume that, it has nothing to do with females. I mean, motorsports for years has been geared more towards males, and, people just make that automatic assumption.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I've tried where people, are talking and... No, I think the worst part is actually sometimes at the autograph sessions, I'm sitting there, I got my picture on the autograph card, I'm signing it just like the boys, I'm wearing the team wear, I might even be wearing the suit, and they go, "Are you a driver?"
Sure.
I'm like, "No, I just put on a suit and I sit here and sign hero cards that I made for my own pleasure." It's a lot of people are still getting surprised once in a while, but I gotta say, for those that come out and say, "Oh, champion, this is mega," it's also great to be around them because they, you can make a difference from them.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're also giving the female fan population somebody to really cheer for. I mean, I'm sure they, they take a liking.
A role model.
Do you find more female or male fans?
Male for sure. But that's just because motorsport is dominated by men.
Right.
That's just how it is. It goes into the racing side of it. It goes into the fan side. That's just how it is. But I gotta say, last year at Petite, my heart completely melted. I found this little girl who had come out and had an autograph later, and we got on the podium at the final race when we won the championship as well. And I took off my podium hat and I gave it to her, and it was smelling like champagne, and she hold on to it. And one of the Corvette guys, I think it was Tommy Milner, came down and wanted to give her the hat, and she looked at mine that I gave her, or hers now. She looked at my hat, she looked at him, looked at the hat, and then she just shook her head no, I don't want yours. I got this one. I don't. Very, very cute. Just that loyalty. I feel like hopefully I made a little difference for her.
Sure.
She thought it was cool that
Makes it all worth
the woman
and the
gave her
message
the
was
hat.
sent. Yeah.
And those are the moments that I enjoy the most. That's for sure.
So how would you encourage people to get involved in this type of sport?
It's very hard. I was lucky. My dad comes from the world of racing.
Right.
I mean, I've created my own connections, but I also started off by us using my dad's connections and who he knew.
So it's a little easier to get your foot in the door.
Oh, 100%. And I think that's very important to acknowledge. Racing is like any other business. You got to get a foot in. And you know what? Use whatever way you can to get that foot in. As long as it follows your moral compass is what I normally say. Mm-hmm. I believe that racing is a world where you need to trust and believe in yourself, but you can never stand alone. You gotta find some people that have your best interest in mind, that you can rely on, that believe in you and want to do the best for you. And that is not so easy to find, unfortunately.
Sure.
I mean,
Genuine people, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been super lucky here with Matteo and with Alessandro and being here with Scuderia Corsa, who really, really do a good job and who I have, a great relationship with. But it's not something you can't go racing alone. You need to find some people that you genuinely have a good relation to and that you can work well with, and where you have the same ambition and the same expectations in mind. And just put yourself out there. Like, you got to be there physically. It's not enough to send an email or a phone call. You got to get out there.
There's a lot of work
you got to
involved,
go
yeah.
out and introduce yourself. Make sure that your face is something like, oh, we met there. Like they recognize who you are. They see you and go, oh, that girl, that's right. Like, she must really want this because I've seen her at the last few races.
I think that people may think Ferrari was being progressive, hiring a female driver, but that's absolutely not what has happened at all. You've very much proven yourself, and I think that it just shows that it's not a marketing ploy. You are the real deal.
Well, the funny thing was actually the year that I was speaking to Giacomo, I will be honest and say I wish I got paid. I don't get paid to race. That is still that's the end goal. But when Giacomo approached me and the team owner started talking to me, it was funny because I was competing first of all against his current drivers, and I was actually beating them, and we were leading the championship until the final round. And in the final round, Scuderia Corsa beat me by 2 points. And if you can't beat them, join them, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That was sort of I don't know. It just felt right. Like, I just had I swear to God, I woke up one day and I had a feeling in my stomach, and it was just like, Scuderia Corsa. And I felt like this was the right decision. And it's probably the best one I've ever made in my life.
Can you tell our audience how it feels to win? How does it feel to stand on the podium and accept that first place trophy?
It feels...
The exhaustion probably goes away immediately.
Oh, completely. You're running on adrenaline. Like, when we won here, we also won the tequila... What is the Tequila Patron North American Endurance Championship. And, you get a bottle of tequila. I swear, I think I had 1 or 2 sips and I felt drunk already. Like, your body is so exhausted.
Sure.
But I actually think the best thing, first of all, it feels amazing because you've been working so hard for this long. Last year's victory came after, for example, the season before, where I had 5 podium finishes. I was so tired of finishing second. I think I finished second 4 times. I was like, where is that win? But it goes into many years of hard work. And I think that, the best feeling is actually seeing that, the happiness that that you got on your own face, and seeing the happiness that all your team members have on their face, and that you get to share it with them. Because a lot of people always say that it's always cold on top, and even though as a driver it can be hard because everything in the end sort of relies on you. Like, you're the one who has to cross the finish line in the end, and it is so hard to let them down. But it's also mega when you get all the high fives and you come in and everyone are like, mega job, and are so happy for you. But it's people that work so hard to prep everything so that you have the best material and you have the best shot at putting that car first across the start and finish line. And when it all comes together, it's not so cold on top, because we have each other in the race team, and it's a team effort that we put together.
Would you say that the goal is to finish or to win? Or is the goal to finish and then the bonus is winning?
To win, you first have to finish, right?
Well, I'm saying the bonus is winning.
Yes, definitely. Nobody goes in to be second.
Right,
but
to finish the race is the first goal. That's what everybody's dying to just finish.
The overall goal is to win. Nobody goes in finishing second. We also acknowledge sometimes that we don't have as great of a shot at every victory. It's, there's never... sometimes you just have a good weekend, sometimes you don't have such a great weekend. Like I said, external influencers that, can have an effect on your race. And sometimes the chance is bigger than other times. But, yeah, I think that the the overall goal is to, yes, go in and win. But, we have sub goals.
Right.
First, you got to finish. Then you got to finish without having major problems. Then you got to be in the lead lap at the end. Then you got to be fighting for a podium. And then you got to be fighting for a win.
Right.
And you want the fastest lap. And you want to look the best at the end.
Who cares about the fastest lap if you win?
If you win. Right.
Yeah.
As long as
Exactly.
champagne is being sprayed, you're in a good place.
Exactly. Yes.
Awesome.
So, you know what? That's actually funny. Tom Christensen, another driver, once went up to him and said, "Oh, but I put down the fastest lap." And he said, "Yes, but I'm standing with a trophy in my hand because I finished first." You know what? Fast laps are nice, but winning a race is so much more than just that one lap, which might be the fastest in the field. It's nice. It's a nice bonus, but it has no actual effect on the race.
People remember the winner.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. People don't remember the person that put down the fastest lap, but they remember who stood on top of the podium.
Awesome. Well, this was a great inside look at the racing experience.
No problem.
And Sebring and your career, and so hopefully you'll get another podium this year.
I would love that. We'll see tomorrow.
Tomorrow, right?
Yep.
So we wish Christina luck. We are coming to you again live from the Sebring International Raceway at the 12 Hours of Sebring.
And where can our listeners find you?
All social media is Christina Racing. Webpage is ChristinaNielsenRacing.com. But I mean, I have some help with the social media, but I'm on every account. I'm looking over everything, and so if somebody ever wants to send me a message or send me a tweet, race weekends are busy.
Yeah, you're responding.
So I'm trying my best to get back to, especially the personalized messages. But yeah, hit me up if you have any questions. I would love to answer them. Only one thing: we have very poor connection here at Sebring Raceway.
It's horrible. I noticed that just walking
Yeah.
around.
I haven't been online all day.
Oh,
I
it's
swear.
awful.
I get online when I get to the hotel in the evening, and that's basically it.
If you have time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yesterday we got
you're
home
probably
at 10:30.
exhausted after a race. I mean, how long does it take to recover?
Yeah, definitely at the moment it's a busy schedule. I mean, we have the 12-hour race. We finish tomorrow at 10. I think
And then
last
you're
year.
flying out to Europe. You said.
Yeah, I think last year we got to the hotel at 2:30 in the morning because we had interviews and podium shots and, luxury problems. It's the best kind of problems you can have. But yeah, I fly out Sunday to Europe. I'm testing Monday and Tuesday in Italy and Thursday and Friday. So
Awesome.
some good days ahead. A lot of time in the Ferrari.
Cool deal. All right. So we're going to sign off. I'm Seth Rose from Exotics Rally. You can find me at Exotics Rally.
And I'm Elizabeth White, and you can find me at It's White Noise.
And again, you can find Christina at Christina Racing on all platforms.
Exactly. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
being with us.
you.
CarLifestyle.